no matter how it looks, this new 14RR is definitely gonna be a monster. Let's move on. We spent a lot of time on the looks. Let's talk about the performance of this thing. That's all I can do. 14R motor, in my opinion, is like the SS for the old muscle car. You know what I mean? It's definitely the super sport of the T-Rex community, in my opinion. Considering that we're back at the 14R motor, it would be safe to say it's the Gen 2 motor. By looking at these horsepower numbers, traction control, things that you see that would come off the Gen 2 ZX14R, it definitely tells me the Gen 2 motor is being used. Mind you, I'm only going off of what I see on their site. I'm trying to just kind of fish through the information and see what I can see, what I can find just by opening up their site and looking at it. Not going off of anything I've heard, not even going off in their Instagram page or any other posts. Let's go over some of the specs of this motor. The horsepower numbers for this 2021 T-Rex RR is 200 horsepower. Now, I'm pretty sure that's possibly to the crank. It's definitely not to the rear wheel. The 200 horsepower is definitely generous, but even if I look it up, like I'm gonna pull it up. Realistically, what it's looking like for this new 2021, 191 horsepower to the rear wheel, and that's on a motorcycle. So you still got to compensate for the bigger wheel, the way the whole chain drive is. It's a lot of things you got to compensate for with the T-Rex because it's set up different. The Gen 1 ZX14R motor is 1352 cc. The Gen 2 ZX14R motor is 1441 cc. So it's a big... Sorry about that. Damn computer. So it's a big difference in cc, and it's mainly gonna be in the torque area, because the main difference with that Gen 1 to Gen 2 motor was the stroke. They went up 4 millimeters in the stroke. The Gen 1 motor was 84 millimeter bore and 61 millimeter stroke, and the Gen 2 motor went up to 65 millimeter stroke. Still 84 millimeter bore, but it went up to a 65 millimeter stroke, which is great. It's great for a T-Rex because we like to play around. We like to do, you know, donuts. We like to just act like we're in a Formula 1 car and act like we're a nut with these things. So more power is not what we really needed, but it's always a good thing when you riding in one of these things, man. The torque is at 113 foot-pounds of torque. That's a lot of torque. I know it might not seem like a lot in terms of numbers for the car gearheads and things like that, but when you put this in a machine and it weighs under 1,000 pounds, it's crazy. So easy to lose control of these things. No matter what model you get. The good thing, they do have traction control on it, so they definitely didn't drop the ball there. They're offering everything the ZX14R, the newer ZX14Rs offer. The gauges definitely look a little bit different. The T-Rex logo within the gauges, and it also, from what I can see, they have the T-Rex on one side of the gauges. It shows how fast you're going. Then the RR on the RPM side of the gauges. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like it has its own oil pressure gauge, which is a good thing. That's going to be interesting to know too, is if this T-Rex 14R is going to have the oiling issues with oil pressure like the Gen 2 ZX14R motor. So I'm not sure if they actually did the upgrades as far as the oil mods to it, so you don't have that problem or what, but it will be interesting to know if that motor's been prepped, you know what I mean, for durability, but reliability as well, because they are deeming this T-Rex to be track worthy, a track worthy T-Rex, and street legal, of course. But by saying track worthy, that's letting me know that, you know what I mean, you can really get, you know, this thing up to speed. You can really, you know, beat it up on a track and really maximize it and push it to its limit. Another thing I will be interested in knowing, given that this is the predecessor of this model, is actually, I guess you would say, the 16S, which did cause people problems from what I hear. From what I hear as far as the reviews on it, and people who have 16Ss and own 16Ss, some of them have had problems with their reverse engaging. Are they going back to the cable style reverse, external reverse gearbox setup on this motor? I don't know. I'm limited with information right now as far as that. So it will be interesting to know what they went and did with that reverse. If they tried to do some type of internal reverse, electronic reverse setup like the 16S, or if they went back to, you know, what was working for them. 998 pounds. That's a big difference. Its predecessor, the T-Rex 16S, actually weighed 1,157 pounds. And we'll call the ZX14R models and all the models weighing somewhere close to that. So let's round it to 1,160 pounds. That weight savings alone is ridiculous. This truly is 998 pounds. You're talking about a weight savings of around 160 pounds. This thing is gonna handle, it's a whole person. I can feel a difference in me riding in my T-Rex with a passenger versus no passenger. So essentially you're saving the weight of a full-size person. Now granted, you know, weight placement and things like that will always make a difference too, but to not complicate things, 160 pounds is a person, give or take, like really. So where did they shave this weight off at? They're using a lighter battery, I'm sure. Lithium batteries. I've been using lithium batteries for a long time. They're amazing as far as weight savings, and in my opinion, they last a lot longer and a lot more reliable. They're expensive, but they're definitely reliable, and you could drain them down. It's not like a regular lead acid battery. Looking at the bodywork and the construction of the bodywork, I'm not sure what that housing is made out of for the headlights. I'm guessing that they you know, might have lightened up how they constructed the fiberglass for this model. You know, whether they use less layers or a certain type of composite or whatever, I'm not sure. It looks like they added some carbon fiber, at least with the fenders and things like that. Do I think that's worth 160 pounds? No. I'm guessing they had to make a hell of a lot of mods with lightening up the frame to assist in that. The headlights might account for something. It depends. You're not going to know unless you weigh them. Wheels, definitely. That's a place where you can save weight. So I can see where they can lighten this thing up. A whole 160 pounds, I commend them for that, definitely, because that's a lot of weight to shave. And just knowing what it is with drag racing and things of that nature, especially when you ride any type of motorsports where, you know, weight is everything. People know you get to the point to where you skimp down so far with saving weight and shaving weight on things that you don't know where else you can pull it from. I'm definitely interested in knowing how it handles. I won't know until I get my hands on one, or if I get my hands on one. So my final overall thoughts. Let me do this real quick. Let me see if I can find what this thing is going to be selling for. I know I said that I'm not going to use any other sources outside of the T-Rex website, but I think that's important to know, you know, if this thing is worth buying, or, you know, if this model, which you're getting for this model, is worth jumping out there for the 2021 model. Because let's be real, let's face it, if the price makes sense, it's always worth doing it. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest, man. Okay, so I wasn't able to find, where's my goddamn water? My bad. Okay, so I wasn't able to find any legitimate info on what the MSRP will be for this 2021 T-Rex 14RR. And I don't want to just, you know, throw numbers out there that I'm not seeing that are official or anything like that. So we'll go off an assumption of what I see, what I think. The original one, or the 16S model, base price, of course, you was looking at around $58K. So if this thing is floating around 64, 65K, something like that, it's not a big deal. I believe that they use a lot of what they learned from the 16S and implemented into this model, but not to the point to where I think this thing should be, you know, 80,000. I heard 90 plus. I don't know. It's gossip talk. He say, she say. We not gonna know until it comes out of the horse's mouth. I see this thing being somewhere in the 60s range. Maybe a tad higher than that, depending on what they're offering as far as the particular models. You got to ask yourself if you're a person who already owns a T-Rex, or if you're a person who's looking for one brand new for your first T-Rex. Any of them, as far as price value, it's not practical for most people. It's not that you can't afford it. It's just not a practical thing. And when I say that, I do understand that some people can't afford these at all. But most people, it's just not a practical toy. Do I think it's a wise move for someone who might own a 14R already? Possibly, but realistically, being that this is a Gen 2 ZX14R motor, what's stopping you from slapping a Gen 2 motor in this? It's not as easy as it sounds. Don't get me wrong. After mounting, you got a lot of things. After mounting the motor, you got a lot of things that you have to account for. Or another option might be modifying your already 14R motor, whether it be a nice little hidden cam package or something like that. Just beefing it up a little bit to be able to hang with this thing, because this new 14RR is definitely, no matter how it looks, this new 14RR is definitely gonna be a monster. The people who did buy into the T-Rex 16S, the BMW brand, with it, it's like that was the new staple. That was the new thing, which is like, oh, okay, you know, oh, I got the new BMW 16S, 16SP, but now it's the Campagna Motors T-Rex 14RR again. It could play out in multiple ways, to be honest, because if they did dissolve their relationship with BMW, or, you know, they're not having any type of relationship with doing anything, regardless of any feedback that we've gotten from the T-Rex 16S, the reliability and things like that, it could take those models and make them go through the roof. But as of right now, I do feel like the people who purchased the T-Rex 16S caught the bad end of the stick with it. It's just something that it wasn't proven. Reliability is a lot of issues that I've always heard people having with those. So I'd like to see them possibly develop their own motor whenever they decide, or whenever the time is right, to make that next move. I also, if you all don't know, they did have a prototype out, the T-Rex electric. So they were working on an electric motor project. I'm not sure if that was a one-off type thing, or if it was something that they planned on putting in production, but I think that was something cool, something different. Needless to say, this new one is out. I'm excited about it. It's ugly as hell, but hey, we'll see. You know, it might be something to grow on me. That's pretty much it, guys. I know it's plenty of things that I didn't cover, but as it comes, I'll give more and definitely tell more as far as what I know. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this new 2021. It's due to be available in April, so we should be seeing them soon. So you guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.